Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Thank you so much for joining us for another insightful and interesting conversation. Today, our program is going to focus on a social entrepreneurial endeavor, an endeavor that is focused on socioeconomic empowerment and not particularly focused on any one place or region. While it started in a region, its focus is humanity. How do we bring people together? How do we enable and skill people to make authentic human connections? And in the process of making those connections, how do we master the art of communication with cultural, social, and ethnic intelligence? Through that process, how do we build collaborative relationships so that we each are empowered and we empower each other in a way that our shared journey is truly towards prosperity? To have this conversation with me on behalf of Destiny Connect Foundation, a not-for-profit I had the honor and privilege of mentoring to be brought to life out of South Africa, is our mastermind and ambassador, Puffy Madupe. Welcome to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks.
Hi, Dr. Kaz. Thank you so much for having me in this platform. I really appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Puffy. And for our regular audience, you know Puffy. He's been on the program. He is a community member. He's a friend of the Goldilocks community. So Puffy, as we get started, let's take a moment and talk about what are the 3 C's and why Destiny Connect Foundation, as an empowerment organization, focuses on this as its first step.
Thank you so much. Dr. Kaz, there's one thing I admire and I respect in terms of communication. And Destiny Connect Foundation, in its best, it's all about empowerment and empowering people with resources, with knowledge, with ideas, and with progress. But the most important thing, you can never empower people without first having to remind them of certain important principles. And those are the principles that I've learned from Destiny Connections, which are the 3 C's, the core values of Destiny Connect Foundation, which is the communication, connection, and collaboration. And I remember when we started to do the mastermind roundtable discussions, this is where we were introduced to these core values and principles. That has really helped me to understand why it was important to study communication in terms of active listening, reminding everyone why is it important to be a good listener, why it is important to be able to grasp as much information as possible so that you can be able to understand everyone with an open mind, people from different backgrounds, people from different walks of life, people of different careers, but having to bring them into one space in terms of communication, active listening, in terms of concise expression. Then you understand people, you understand each other, you understand one another, you can be able to connect based on the respect that you have built towards one another in terms of communication. Because now we are on the same page, we are on the same dimension, we are on the same mission, we start connecting, we start to see, okay, what is it that I can bring that the other person can be able to take it and run with it and change the lives of the other person? And this is where collaboration comes in. You communicate with someone, you have active listening, you express yourself properly, you start connecting and you collaborate into programs that are going to change the world. And this is what the 3 C's Mastermind Roundtable is about, because it takes us back to the basic fundamental principles of communication, basic fundamental principles of life. Because without these 3 C's, I believe that we can never be able to have clear and concise communication. There will always be limitations. But I am thankful to Destiny Connect Foundation because now we have found this foundation that we have laid and I've seen it work so many great things for. for me and those who have already done it.
Thank you. Thank you for that insight, Puffy. One of the things that I have always found to be impactful and truly necessary about communication and connection as the first two parts is it's something we need to have for ourselves before we can give the others. And as part of the Destiny Connects 3C program, we actually take the participants through the journey of connecting with themselves, communicating with themselves, starting with listening to yourself, paying attention to what's going on, and from the inside out transforming. Because when we are not connected to ourselves, then as a human, we can't connect to others, right? If we are not listening to ourselves, we can't engage with others. Talk to us a little bit about how you have seen individuals go through this program transform, because we're giving them the tools to connect with their soul, with themselves first, and then reach out and connect with everybody. And it's a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-generational process. What have you seen happen, and what has been some of the beautiful moments about running these programs?
You know, Dr. Kass, thank you so much. That's an excellent question. And the first thing that I want to highlight, if this program was not so impactful, I wouldn't even be here as an ambassador for the 3Cs, because I'm an ambassador because I understand the impact that it has caused positively in my life. I remember in one of the round tables, I shared this testimony. I said, when I came across, the founder of DCF, Mr. James Ojo, and we sat down and he explained to me about this particular program, I realized that I came into a space after 7 weeks of completing the first program. I felt that I was not growing before because I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do anymore. And I even said to this, group of people that we were actively in the table, I said, I was like this flower that wanted to blossom, but I didn't have the platform to do so. And Destiny Connect Foundation 3Cs Mastermind came as the fertile soil that I needed so that I can be able to grow, to blossom, to start changing my perspective in so many things. It happened by the third week of attending the 3Cs Mastermind class. I had already understood what was limiting my ability to progress, what was limiting my communication, what was limiting me in terms of building proper connections and collaboration with other people. And I can assure you, Dr. Kass, that by the 7th week, when we were done with the course, I knew exactly that this is what I needed, because it changed a lot in terms of my view of life, my view of the vision that I have, and my view, most importantly, about other people, relating better with people, understanding people, being open-minded, being empathetic and compassionate, because those are some of the topics that we did. Having that active listening attitude, having that concise expression, confidence, being able to leverage conflict into a constructive progress mechanism. All those powerful principles and all those powerful programs, they literally changed my life. Because after the 3Cs, the first time I did the 3Cs, I was able to now start networking more effectively. I was able to establish my own office as a coach, because I was struggling a lot with making progress in terms of certain goals that I've set for myself. Now I have a fully established organization. I have a fully established office. I have a team that I'm working with. I am able to reach more people than I used to before. And I understand that this program triggered the confidence that was a bit hidden inside of me. That fear that we normally have, and we are not even aware that we have fear. But because of this, I'm able to now express myself better. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity, because I grow every day. I was talking to the founder, Mr. James Ojo. I said, thank you for this opportunity, because imagine if it has changed my life so beautifully and positively, how many other people will this program change? Because his goal, as you spoke, Dr. Katz, is that in the next 5 years, he wants to see this program having reached 5 million people globally. I was one of those first who started in this program, and I'm grateful to share the testimony that my life has completely changed so positively, and I'm grateful.
I am so delighted to hear this, Buffy. I have known and worked with James for a while now, behind the scenes with a group of advisory board members to bring this to life.
Yeah.
And I got introduced to James through a dear friend of mine, Kunle. He's my
So,
co-host for my other podcast.
yes,
So it is
Mr.
a small world. And to sit back and look at here, I am from Sri Lanka, living and working in the Caribbean and the United States, connected to gentlemen from Nigeria, South Africa,
Yeah.
building something meaningful internationally, launching it and supporting it and helping the baby we created together, right, grow into something so meaningful. And that is a delightful experience. And to me, the priceless component is that this is multiplying so fast and we are bringing in so many communities in. Right now, Stuart, our China-based advisory board member, and I, we are doing a mastermind that includes Belize and Central and West United States. So Central, Mountain, and Pacific time zone in the United States, and Belize, so that we are bringing in cross-cultural, cross-faith, right? Interfaith, intergenerational conversations. And the surprising part is we have two couples, a young newly married couple and a much older couple with children who are CEO and executive partner of their own business. And not only is this helping people, I am seeing not only it's helping them better connect with themselves, it's helping them talk and work through marital conflicts. So it's actually powerfully impacting relationships at all levels. Talk to us a little bit about what are you seeing as you are facilitating these masterminds, just like the example I gave on what we are seeing at our end.
Dr. Kass, thank you. I really appreciate all these questions because they are so relevant. And I'm always on the ground on behalf of Destiny Connect Foundation doing coaching, mindset coaching in different institutions, different, non-profit organizations, and you come across different cases. And some of the organizations that I've done coaching with are organizations for girls who are at risk, meaning some of the girls were human trafficked and they were brought back safely and they are kept in facilities where they need to be coached, they need therapy and all these things. And you can imagine having to coach people of different cultures, age, background, race. You see, I admire this program because it does not limit anyone, whether you are young or you are old. The first thing I always do, even when I go to the ground, to do coaching and to do this particular program, 3Cs Roundtable, I always tell people, I said, if you want this program to change your life, you should have an open mind and you should be expectant that it's going to bring something that is different. And hence, I believe that information might be the same, but the more you hear the same information, the more it changes you differently. Certain things about communication, we think we know them until we have to be in situations and scenarios where we realize that my communication needs certain adjustment there and there. And you can never say, I know, because for anyone to grow, Dr. Kass, you have to have room for improvement. That's what Kunle Pelemo said one day, and I never forgot those words. He said the only room that is never filled is the room for improvement, because you always have to have that expectancy. I meet couples who sit down for this roundtable. I meet young people. Some of them, they are coming from being alcoholics. Some of them, they are coming from drug backgrounds. Some of them are coming from orchestrated homes. But everyone who comes across this program, it leaves them in a better, position than where it found them from the first place. So I'm very much grateful that at the end of the day, there are conflicts that are being resolved. There's growth that has been anointed in so many people. There's a lot of elevation, like myself. People who come to me, some people are educated, Dr. Cass. There are people who are educated, who've got high degrees, some PhDs. But when they sit down for this program, they said, you know what? I thought I know so much. But believe you me, these basic principles are things that we normally forget and we neglect. And they are the ones that are the foundation and the pillars of our lives. So I see this program changing many people's lives every day. That is why even when we spoke about fundraising for the 3Cs Mastermind Roundtable, and I was asked this question in one platform to see how do you think this program is going to help people? I said, it has changed my life. I'm a living testimony of what it can do and what it will do to the lives of many people. Without resources, imagine how Destiny Connect Foundation has been steering direction to this program, reaching people on the ground. Imagine now when there are resources, how much more positive impact it can make to the lives of many people all over the world. So this is a must. This is a needed program for the global, impact initiatives that we are coming with. And I'm confident about it.
I love your passion. I love your energy. And I love the authenticity with which you show up, Buffy. You are absolutely what this program intends to create and propagate, because we want this to be contagious. We've always wanted this to be contagious, right? It's not diseases that are contagious. Goodness is contagious. Joy and peace and love is contagious. And so to me, the way I am looking at this, Puffy, is this world is facing everything it's facing because humans devalue humans. If you don't look like me, you don't sound like me, you don't pray like me, you don't love like me, you don't, whatever reason you're not like me, then you're dehumanized. But when we go through this program, two things are happening. People are learning that everybody has a story, everybody has a struggle, everybody has a path, right? I remember talking to our mastermind group about only together we make up a garden. If each of us are a flower and we are all the same flower, it's not a garden. It's only going to bloom in one season. It's going to be dead the rest of the time. There is no joy. There are no butterflies. There are no bees. There are no hummingbirds, nothing. But if we have a garden with flowers and leaves and fruit plants and everything, all blooming and fruiting in different seasons, now we have a self-sustaining ecosystem. That is what the human society is supposed to be. And the way it's going to help is truly bring humanity into our human existence and break the cycle of dehumanization. For me, that is the single most powerful thing. And so far, we have taken those who are committed to this to spend their own resources, right? But the goal is to do a fundraiser and raise money so that we can certify people who have the passion and who have the propensity and the ambassadorship to go and do this, so that we defray their cost and therefore we're able to create a self-sustaining ecosystem. So if you had a message for anybody who's listening on behalf of Destiny Connect Foundation, what would that message be in terms of why they need to get involved, both as understanding and learning the 3Cs, but also supporting us in so many different ways, including supporting us in the fundraiser?
I am confident, and I am sharing this out of the depth of my heart. Because firstly, I have seen the commitment and the passion that Destiny Connect Foundation has for humanity, whereby we are going back to the basics. And the basics are fundamental principles, empowering people, reminding them of what communication is, bringing cross-cultural people together, different beliefs together. We are bringing people of different mindsets together to show them that it is possible to relate. It is possible to become one. It is possible to respect each other and one another. It is possible to exercise the principle of forgiveness, as forgiveness is one of the modules that we did in the Mastermind Roundtable. And I've seen every time we do this module of forgiveness, how many people are touched because of the element in which it's presented. This program is presented in a unique way. Our facilitators are people who get so committed into the program to a point where we want to see the change, not only on the documents of DCF through the modules, but the implementation and the practicality of what it does to people. This is a program that has been healing people and bringing restoration to so many people. It started with me. When I started this program, Dr. Cass, I was going through a lot of challenges. I was going through a lot of downfalls and many seasons that were unfavorable to me. And I think I had lost touch at that time with so many things. But I am restored. Confidence, everything, positivity, attitude has brightened up. My mindset has been now more, focused and breaking out to reach a very high spectrum. And imagine how much this thing is going to help so many people out there. There are so many young people, old people who are vulnerable, who are desperate to talk. One thing I also love about the program is that it helps people to open up, to talk. I remember when we did some of the round tables, I'll see people talking and crying. I'll see people expressing themselves. Some people telling stories of how they were raised, how certain situations broke them. And I've seen them getting that healing. I've seen them having that hope. And I'm saying to everyone who's watching this video, being part of this vision, being part of the hand that is stretching to reach many people globally, you are actually part of Destiny Connect Foundation. You are actually part of the success. You are actually part of the healing and the restoration. You are part of bringing humanity back together. You are part of the positive change that the world needs. And those resources that we are saying and we are asking for humbly to say, we need those resources so that our facilitators can go on the ground, reach many people, reach schools, varsities, colleges, organizations, different homes. Like you said, Dr. Cass, there are people who attend this round table as families. Imagine how many families are going to be rebuilt by having those resources to expand the program so that our facilitators can reach timelessly to certain destinations and locations to reach to those people who are appealing. I've been seeing on how many people are interested in attending the mastermind table. There's a queue of multitudes of people globally who are waiting to be reached in this program. There are people who are willing to grow, people who are willing to change old habits and break the old self and become new people. And we need those resources to reach those people all over the world. And we appreciate in advance every hand that is stretching to give its resources, whether financially or anyhow, however someone wants to come, or any entity or any organization that says, okay, Puffy, Destiny Connect Foundation, we want to stretch our hands, we want to be part of this vision. We really appreciate, because it has changed so many people now. In the next 5 years, we want to have reached at least 5 million people who should have benefited from this program, who don't just walk away with the certificate, but they walk away with their dignity. They walk away, being rebuilt and restored, and they walk away with healing and wholeness. That's what we want. So that people can go back, Dr. Cass, to treating each other and one another as human beings. We go back to loving one another. We go back to the basic humanity that we were before. And this vision is the exact vision that the globe or the world requires in order for us to get back to who we were before. Humanity is the future indeed. And we are saying, as you are going to help, as you are going to stretch out those resources, we are thankful and we are grateful. And we are saying, you will never regret being part of this vision, because as the people get transformation, I believe the name of Destiny Connect Foundation will be all over the world, spreading positive change to the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Profi. I just love that message. I am going to open this up for our live audience, and we have a community member who tirelessly joins and engages in our conversation. And she is actually working on empowering women over 40. Precious, please join us and share your thoughts or any questions you have. Go ahead.
Yes, well, I'm honored to be here. And it seems like you use the term back to basics. It is so elementary, but it's also so terminal degree-ish, the information. It's the basics of humanity and being able to connect, and you gain people's trust, and then you can build from there. It's basic, and it's profound at the same time because of the emphasis that you all put into operating in this space. I have a question when it comes to this, and you talk about people coming from different walks, different cultures, belief systems, and I think there's such a beauty in that. Do you have any examples of how this has helped to overcome any cultural challenges? You know, people already come to the table with their preconceived views and beliefs, and sometimes have a harder time accepting someone else from a different perspective. How has that been managed, or how have you seen the impact of this system in that way?
Thank you, Precious. Most of the time when we look at one another or each other as human beings, all right, we tend to look at each other in the form of culture, background, race, color, and all these things. But we forget to look at each other as human beings. And that is what Destiny Connect Foundation is doing. To change, to reverse that perspective, to say when you look at another person, firstly, you have to see them as a human being. You have to care for them as a human being. You have to have that affection towards them as a human being before you can see their culture, before you can see their backgrounds. That is why even when we have the Mastermind Roundtable, we bring people of different cultures, walks of life, different beliefs, but it would be surprising, Precious, because the level of humility, the level of humanity, the level of understanding, it's because these basic principles, especially the fundamental principles of communication, they start to remind us that we are here as human beings. We are here as brothers and sisters. We are not here as a culture. We are here just as human beings. And that is what we are trying to emphasize as Destiny Connect Foundation. So that when you are looking at someone else, the love and compassion and empathy in you, it sees that person as a human being, not which culture they belong to. Because that has been the barrier and the limitation for so many people to say, okay, this person needs help, but because they don't belong in my culture, I can't help them. So we can't afford that. And we are saying, no, someone cannot suffer. Someone cannot be isolated. Someone cannot suffer certain things because we are saying they don't belong to us. No, they are a human being. And we are going to love that human being. And that is how we've been achieving. And I've seen how even when we do the graduations for Mastermind Roundtables, how people start relating better, how people start looking at each other as human beings, how empathy and compassion now is the one running ahead of us. And we are no longer labeling each other as culturally based. We are no longer labeling each other according to our race. We are just there as human beings, and we beautify that.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you for that very, very targeted, impactful question, Precious. And I admire how you integrated that into our program, Puffy. And to add to that, what I would say is for our audience, and to add to what Puffy just said to Precious, we start with listening. When we start with listening, we're quietening everything down, and we're teaching people how to actively listen. And one of the ongoing feedback I get throughout these mastermind programs is that is the most important thing that has changed in their lives. Now, the two couples who participate, one is African American and their spouse is Caucasian, both from the United States, but raised in very, very different environments. And as they deal with their marital struggles, they are learning how to cope and learn and grow together. And they are forced to listen to each other's stories and other people's stories, right? Sometimes listening transforms everything. And the other young couple is one is Sri Lankan, one is Indian. And the language is different, the religion is different, even though they are neighbors, everything is different, and they haven't visited each other's countries. They got married in the US when they met in school. So these kind of scenarios truly create an environment even for the others to see, wow, even in a marriage, we need to be a little more actively listening. I need to take a step back and not judge. And when we listen and we hear the stories, we stop putting people in boxes with labels, right? All it takes is to stop, pause, listen, and take in, and we realize we're all one. So as I bring this conversation to a close, I invite everybody to take a look at Destiny Connect Foundation. See how you can engage with us. See how you can transform your own journey. One thing in life is perennial. Learning is an ongoing journey. A learning organization is an innovative, thriving, sustainable organization. And a learning being is an ongoing growth mindset being. And learning has to be continuous, going back to that continuous improvement, lean management type principles that I professionally practice and grew up in. So approach that continuous learning. In my culture, we say the day you decide you have nothing to learn is the day you're ready to check out of this world, because there's nothing else here for you. Every human interaction, as I say, is an opportunity for our transformation. And our 3Cs program and the way we engage with the world creates multitude of transformational opportunities for all parties. And it creates the mindset to take that transformation. So to our audience out there, please take a look, take a pause. You may need this more than anything else, because if you have not built a relationship with the inner divine, because the divine is inside of you, your soul is part of the divine. Take this program, take a moment, connect with yourself, and from the inside out, engaged in a way that you transform yourself and propagate that transformation all around you. We say Vanakkam, that literally means my soul sees the love, light, and truth that's contained within your soul. And at that point of recognition, I realize you and I are one because we come from the same maker. So to me, the way we greet Vanakkam is exactly what Destiny Connect Foundation is doing. In English, in the Western tradition, using the language and culture the Western tradition brings in, right? So let's bust out all these human barriers we've put in. That's divisive, that is separating us. Because in the point of crisis, we're going to reach out to each other. We're going to cry for help. Are we going to be able to reach a hand? And is somebody else going to give us a hand? Goes directly to our ability to be humane. Animals do this beautifully. Animals take care of other creatures' children. Why can't we? Why can't we? And why can't we start with understanding the importance of starting with listening to communicate, then authentically connect, and meaningfully collaborate for impact? Because in the end, the lives we sustain are absolutely our own.